are here for another edition of the Champions Series powered by the postcoach.ca website and the Garage Door Sports Network. I am Nick McVicar from Garage Door Sports. Today, we are talking to the reigning men's champion head coach from UQTR, Shany Black. Shany, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm good. Thanks for having me.
You had an incredible year in 2019 with the team. You guys started the year by not only winning the regular season, but going into the playoffs as the number one team in the RSEQ, 1 point ahead of Montreal, and then facing them in the final. What was the entire experience like for the season after losing the 2 games early and then going on to be the champions of the regular season?
Yeah, well, you said it. One of the key moments in the season is when we lost back-to-back games at the beginning of the season. That's something that I think was good for us, that when it happened really soon so that we could, shake things up a bit and move forward afterwards and learn from the mistakes we made on that week. So yeah, it's been a awesome trip. And of course we had, some ups and downs, I'd say, but we after those 2 losses, we really kept moving forward, and the rest is history.
And you made it through the playoffs and end up facing perennial all-star team in Montreal, who had won 2 previous years, and you end up losing in that game. How did you turn that loss around heading into nationals to sort of motivate your team for the last 3 games?
Well, you know what? Our more experienced players did a really great job with that. We didn't even got back in the locker room that they were already speaking about, okay, so we knew we were qualified for national championships, obviously, and they were already talking about that revenge that we could get if we go all the way or if we cross their road during the nationals. So basically, as a coaching staff, we had not much to do with it because, like I said, the veterans did a huge job with that, and the scenario was awesome. Both teams from Quebec getting in the national finals in Montreal was awesome.
And you mentioned the final in the nationals, but I want to talk about the whole experience. 3 games, 3 shutouts. Just an incredible defensive performance. Was that kind of the game plan going in, or was that something that sort of formed after maybe the first few minutes or the first game?
I'd say it was a bit both of it, because we had a really successful defensive organization, for the entire season. But during the regular season, we were a team that really loved to keep possession, play a lot with the ball, and we didn't do that during the national championship. So we had to adapt the way we usually played, during the season, because we had some really great opponents during the national championship. But yeah, of course, our not only our goalkeeper, but the whole defensive organization did a great job during that run. And like you said, 3 shutouts is something really, really awesome. And you spoke about the final at first. Montreal didn't get any shutout against. They scored a goal or more during every game they played during that 2019 season. So for us, doing it, on that day was really a huge accomplishment.
You talk about the leadership on your team earlier, and your keeper, Felix Chaplin-Girard. The 3 shutouts is incredible in the run to the nationals, but 15 saves against Montreal, who you mentioned had not been shut out all season. What does that kind of leadership mean to a coach like yourself?
It's really hard to put that in words. We were so proud to see how that team went there and stepped everything up. And by that, I mean everything that was on the field, but also off the field. Everyone got, when we got in the bus leaving Trois-Rivières on Tuesday, I think, everyone, got themselves in a zone, and they were so committed to the objective, of course, but to putting the team first. So every little step that could be made, or everything that they could have an impact on, they were so committed to do that. And like you said, Felix had a huge part in that and played three big games with us. But also the leadership he had off the field with the group of veterans we had on the team was honestly awesome, for a coach. And hopefully we can repeat that in the years to come. But we had really a group of veterans that was awesome on that 2019 season.
I want to talk a little bit more generic now as a coach yourself. When you are going to recruit a player, when you are trying to scout players out, is there something that you look for, not necessarily on the field skills, because that's the easy one to look for. Is there a specific personality trait or just player trait that you look for as a coach?
Um, that's a really good question, and like you said, the easy part is to identify the qualities on the field. We have most of the time two things in mind when we recruit a player. Speaking of off or yeah off the field aspects. So first is his academic background. So is he well good at school? Has he been in school for a long period of time? What is he studying and everything? So so that's something we kind of uh, try to look into and discuss with the potential recruit so that we can have a closer look on that. The other thing is, and that's the hard part, I'd say. We try to figure out if the guy is able to get his selfish side aside. I don't know if I'm being clear here, but
I think I get it.
yeah. So we try to see if that guy can get into that family that's the Patriots team, and make sure that he, like I said, he puts the team in front, so that he gets into a mindset where either you're part of the problem or you're part of the solution. And getting in that mindset, so everybody gets committed, like I said earlier, to a common objective. And that way you get a team that really works together, and that players that work for each other. So basically that's the two things we try to look into.
The pandemic has kind of given a very interesting look at the coaching aspect of especially university sports, because a lot of them have shut down a lot of the lines of communication. How have you handled the COVID pandemic with trying to keep your team focused on retaining the national title and just keep them fit and keep them, I guess, even mentally healthy at this point?
Absolutely. What that was our main our main objective, to keep them, like you said, mentally active. And regarding that, what we did is try to make them more accountable on academic results. Because we almost cannot tactically prepare ourselves, technically prepare ourselves. So basically what we said is, make sure that you guys get the grades so that you're still available next year, right? Because that's the only thing we have an impact on right now. Once we can get back on the field, surely we're gonna modify the initial planification that we had, so that we can work maybe in something different that we used to. But right now, that's honestly that the main thing is to focus on the academic part. And we try to have some get-togethers via Zoom, so that we can have a chat with the guys. We have some individual meetings, maybe 2 or 3 months or so. So we try to have discussions with them at some points. But like I said, the main objective we had is to make sure that everyone is available next year, and for that they need to have some good grades. So that's what we're working on right now.
You have a unique ability, being a bilingual coach, to recruit both French and English players to your squad if you wanted to. Does being bilingual give you any advantages to you and your squad? And if not, do you think it would in a normal year?
Well, you know what? Since our university is providing education only in French, we mostly recruit players that are that their first language is French. We had a guy on the team in 2020 that was from the West Island in Montreal. That was English was his first language. Sorry, and he came because he wanted a challenge regarding his education in French. So that was a huge success for us to have someone, English speaking player coming to UQTR, trying to work out an education in French. But I'd say being bilingual is not a huge advantage for me. Of course, for the relations with other coaches when we try to go play friendly matches in training camp or something is easier. But regarding recruiting, I don't think that's a huge advantage for us.
If you got the chance to talk to a young up and coming coach, someone who doesn't have the experience or anything, and you could only tell them one piece of advice on how to be a better coach, what would that piece of advice be?
That's a really good question. I'd say no matter how successful you get, and no matter what achievements you go through or you accomplish, uh, always stay humble, because humility makes you work so hard. Humility makes you uh, letting nothing to chance, or you work so hard trying to control every detail, because you think you need to do that, because you don't get yourself, I don't know, I wouldn't say on a higher esteem, but you stay, like I said, staying humble makes you work, right? So basically that's what I would say to the young guns in coaching. um
That's a great answer. Honestly, I haven't heard that from many coaches. Stay humble, so that's an interesting response.
Thank you.
That's all I have for you today, Coach Shany. Thank you for joining us here on the Champions Series. We will talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks for having me, guys. It's been a pleasure.